Hi everybody, I am Katie Ramlow and I'm going to briefly describe to you what right hemisphere brain damage, RHD, is. The first thing I'm going to address is what is right hemisphere brain damage? Right hemisphere brain damage, also known as RHD, is damage to the right side of the brain. Since the brain is made up into two sides or hemispheres, each hemisphere has a responsibility for different body functions and skills. In most people, the left side of the brain contains the person's language functions, and the right side contains attention, memory, reasoning, and problem solving. All the right hemisphere functions also contribute to effective communication. Damage to the right hemisphere of the brain may lead to disruptions of cognitive processes, which will also result in communication problems. In many cases, the person with the right brain damage is unaware of problems that he or she is experiencing. Now I'm going to tell you about some signs or symptoms that you can see in an individual with right hemisphere brain damage. Attention is one, and this is the difficulty on concentrating on a task or focusing on what is seen or heard. Perception can be the visual perception deficit that causes a person to have difficulty perceiving and processing any information on the left visual field. For example, if you have a tray in front of you, you would not be able to see the food on the left side, but you would be able to see it on the right side. This is also called left side neglect. Another sign or symptom is reasoning and problem solving. This is the difficulty with identifying that there is a problem and generating a solution for the problem. Another sign or symptom is memory. Memory is the difficulty in recalling previously learned information in order to learn new information. Excuse me. Another sign or symptom is social communication or pragmatics. This is the difficulty with interpreting abstract language and understanding jokes and sarcasm. Another sign or symptom is organization. This is the difficulty with systematically planning and arranging information in a sequence. Another sign or symptom is insight. So this would be the difficulty with recognizing problems and their impact on daily functioning. And lastly, orientation is a sign or symptom that is the difficulty of recalling the date, time, and place. This may be a problem when identifying your child's birthday or age. Some of the causes of right hemisphere brain damage include stroke, tumors, infection, traumatic brain injury, seizures, and toxicity. Now I'm going to tell you about how cognitive communication problems following a right hemisphere brain damage is diagnosed. Typically, a speech-language pathologist, an SLP, will complete a variety of formal and informal evaluation procedures. Specifically, the SLP is looking for the person's language abilities such as comprehension and expression, and cognitive processes, which include attention, memory, reasoning, and problem solving. The nature and severity of the cognitive communication problem will depend on the extent of the brain damage in each individual. Now I'm going to talk about the treatment that is available for individuals with right hemisphere brain damage. Typically, a person with right hemisphere brain damage should see a speech-language pathologist or SLP. An SLP is trained to work with people with communication disorders, and it is also important to see the doctor, OTs, PTs, or any other professionals that are involved with the client. The SLP will work with that individual person and the collaborating team to develop a treatment plan designed to improve the individual's cognitive communication abilities. So now you're probably wondering, how can I communicate more effectively with a person with right hemisphere brain damage? And these are important reminders for you as a person that's communicating with someone with RHD. The first thing, ask questions and use reminders to keep the individual on topic. Avoid any sarcasm, metaphors, jokes when speaking to the person with RHD. Provide a consistent routine every day. Another thing is to break down instructions into small steps and repeat directions as needed instead of using large step directions. Decrease any distractions when communicating. Provide appropriate supervision to ensure the person's safety. This is first and foremost important. Stand to the person's right side and place objects on the person's right side if they're experiencing any left side neglect. And use calendars, clocks, and notepads, planners, anything that can help remind the person of important information. The majority of the information I have given you today is from asha.org, which is a great resource that explains RHD very well for a person who doesn't understand what RHD is. A couple of other organizations that have information on right hemisphere brain damage include, but are not limited to, American Stroke Association and the National Stroke Association. I encourage you to check them out. Thanks for watching.